Chewing time with Korean movies.
국제 market is at Junggo, Busan. This market was built by the people who came back home from Japan after gaining independence. And during Korean War, many refugees from North Korea came and settled here. So, this market was a place for sharing news of family, relatives, who they really want to meet, and neighbors. And it is also a place for survival in those tough situations. He dealt all kinds of goods by selling and buying, and sometimes bartering goods together. Busan was behind the Dakdongga River's defense line, so it is the best place for refugees because most of the cities were destroyed by war, and the refugees struggled to find one meal, one place to sleep, one medicine for injury. Even though this city was crowded with all kinds of dialects from a variety of local provinces, they tried to cure the starve by sharing Korean jong, Korean emotional consideration. Imagine how much sadness they experience, or how much happiness they share in this market. Busan was a kind of cosmopolitan city for all Koreans. Actually, 국제 market means cosmopolitan market. This market still holds the memories of tough days of Korean history. When I stayed for a while in Hawaii, some veterans who participated in Korean War and worked in American military camp came to meet us. They waited for us at a hotel and asked us if we know Dongdae in Busan. Of course I know. It is one of the famous places of hot spring. But I couldn't understand the feeling of longing for the city where they shared their happiness and sadness together then. I'm sorry about that. 국제 market in Busan is a place of longing. This movie, 국제 market, let go of memories of one family with a feeling of longing.
December 1950, from Hungnam, many people started to leave the hometown for the south as refugees when they heard Chinese army would rush in. Doctor's family was among the refugees who were struggling to get on board the ship. Refugees who were carrying on the head and back with their family were hurrying toward the Hungnam port. Doctor's younger sister Baksun was playing with a snowflake, was scolded by Doksun because she didn't know how serious the situation was. They were not in the situation where they thought they would go on a picnic, but in the critical situation to escape from. Tens of thousands of people got together at the port, waiting to get on board the Victoria. When the army finished loading the heavy weapons, there was just a little space for refugees. If the ship left the port, too many refugees would be left behind and would be in a desperate situation. Admiral Robert Looney made the big decision to unload all the heavy weapons to make space for refugees. When the refugees ran into the container door, but others tried to get on the deck by rock ladder. hanging on the wall of the ship. Doksu's family also struggled to climb to the ship by the dangerous ladder. Young Doksu carried the younger sister Maksun on his back, shouting at her not to sleep and holding his back tightly. But suddenly, she misses her grip and disappears somewhere. Doksu cried out that he didn't know where Maksun was. Saying he didn't know where and when he had lost Maksun. Father asked his young eldest son to be the head of the household and take care of his mother and younger siblings, and went down the ladder and was trying to find Maksun. And the ship began to depart Busan. Also, father shouted that if his family wait for him at uncle's house, we'll surely go there. Doksu's family live with aunt who runs a retail store 꽃분이네 in Gukje Market. Mother supports the family by sewing. Doksu goes to attend to school with his younger sister and earns money by polishing shoes in the afternoon. Without any news of father and Maksun, Doksu and mother try their best to make life better. But it's not easy for the condition of his family to get better off. One day, Doksu asked mother why she never talked about Maksun. She answered the question with a story why the mother can't enter the flaming house even though her beloved son is in the fire. It's because she is responsible for the rest of the family. It's the head of family who makes the decision when it's critical. And head of family should endure the burden of responsibility for the family. Mother said, don't forget, you are the head of our family. Doksu grows as a young man, and he works as a daily laborer at the port. He is the actual head of his family. And his younger brother studied very well, so he also needs to support his brother to go to the university. However hard he tried to earn a living by working at the port as daily laborer, it's not easy to earn money to support his family. He is under the burden of both studying and supporting family. And it's not easy not to fall into despair in this unclear future. Whenever Doksu is in trouble, he always talks to his father in the border and tries to make a resolution as a head of family. He tried to console himself and decide not be weak as a head of family, talking to his father in the border. It is the head of family who tolerates all toughness in life for the family. Doksu and his friend Dalgu applied for a minor in West Germany because it was the best way to get more money for raising a family. Many young men applied with the same reason, so the rate of competition was so high. The winners of competition fly to West Germany, and Doksu and Dalgu are among the winners. The life of a miner is so tough. Every morning, they get on the lift and go 3,000 meters down to the place they work. They crack the coal bed with a big drill and put coal on the conveyor belt. Sometimes the miners are injured or even die by accident. Koreans call the toughest the hopeless life, a miner's life, or the life in the shaft. Sometimes the tough life of a minor and the longing for family make them cry. Dogs also sob silently whenever he misses the family in Korea. When he feels lonesome, he takes a walk or rides a bicycle along the river Rhine. One day, when he rides the bike along the river, he hears the song of Lorelei. Surprisingly, one Asian young woman is singing the song.
아, 간호원이시구나.
She is a Youngja from Korea and a nurse.
힘든 거는 광부가 더 힘들.
She studies and works as a nurse and has training as a nurse. She also soothes herself walking along the river whenever she feels lonesome and longs for family.
백지장도 맞들면 낫다는 말이 있지 않습니까?
They begin dating whenever they have time. One day, a tunnel in the mine collapses, and Doksu and Dalgu are trapped in it. In the desperate moment, he silently talked to his father in his mind that he has tried his best as a head of family and pleads that his life has not been easy. When the staff of mine cannot find a way to save them and give up rescuing them, Korean miners enter the collapsed shaft and save them. Youngja takes care of Doksu.
제가
Doksu comes back home because of expiration of visa, and Youngja follows him. They marry and begin a new life as couple.
고모 돌아가신 지 얼마 됐다고요?
On to pass it away.
고생하면서 평생을 지킨 가게를
Doksu wants to buy the store
제가
because
살게요.
it's the place for promise of father who surely will come to the family. He goes to Vietnam to make more money despite his wife's big opposition. Although he went there to transport goods, he experienced battles many times. When he sees one little girl is in danger in the battle, he saves her in the face of critical danger, thinking of Baksun. But he is shot to be injured. He comes back home with a permanent handicap in a leg. He becomes the owner of store Kopunine. He has tried his best to support his family for their lives, education, marriage with the name of head of family. His children also have grown up and have become financially independent. Sometimes he looks like cranky tempered or very stubborn old man due to the tough experiences and weight of life on his shoulder. But many cannot understand him, especially when the staff of the Development Association come to him and urge him to sell the store. He gets angry and even shows a big hostility. He shouts he wants to sell the store at all before he dies. But he is also a good man who converts the fair anger to the people who show racism to foreigners. In 1983, KBS held a special program for finding separate families from the two countries. Many separate families in South Korea go to Yeouido in Seoul and hold picket lines to tell their hope to meet the family in North Korea. Tens of thousands notices are fixed on the wall of KBS building and the floor of Yeouido Square. All Koreans share the sadness and happiness of the separate families from the TV. They stayed up all through the night many days in the excitement, happiness, and frustration of sadness. Doctor also go to Seoul and hold the picket to find Maksun and father. Surprisingly, the news from Maksun comes from LA in America, not from North Korea. An American soldier held Maksun and got on board the ship.
미군이 저를 데리고 배에
Maksun
탔습니다.
stayed for a while in Busan and was adopted to a family in LA. The reunion of TV is really a touching drama. So, all Koreans cry and smile together. It's a miracle. Maksun's family comes to Korea and meet the family together. It's really a family reunion. It is close to the end of this movie.
평생 아버님을 그리워하셨지만
We were aboard a ship, the
Admiral
Victory.
Robert Brune's determination was really the most admirable humanism in the history of the world. Actually, that day, the ship Victoria more than 14,000 refugees from North Korea.
We had 3 hatches.
On June 30 in 2017, Korean President Moon Jae-in paid tribute to the monument to Korean War in Washington, D.C. and paid silent tribute to the soul of veterans who dedicated themselves to protect Korea during Korean War. In fact, the president's parents were among the refugees on the deck of Victoria that day. Mother passed away the next year. They met Maksun together.
잘은 모르시겠지.
Doctor decided to sell the store,
이제 팔아라.
saying his father would not come back
가게.
because of old age. And he said to his wife that his hope in youth was to become captain of a large ship. Actually, he gave up going to university even though he passed the examination going to
그러면 내잘 살았지.
Korea Maritime and Ocean University. With his father's picture in front of him, he talked his father as he reported that he had done his best to help his family with anything. Father, haven't I been doing well? He asked. Now, he's crying silently with his mouth covered.